So first, good morning to all of you. And a special welcome to those of you who are here for the first time. Today is our usual first Sunday of the month extended sessions. So you may have come knowing that or not, and if you can stay for the full morning and into the afternoon, that would be great. You are certainly welcome and encouraged to do that. Generally, our meditation practice today will be practice of calm abiding. Many of you have long experience in the practice of calm abiding. So we'll make an effort today to make it a little different for some of you, maybe all of you. We will, before the lunch break, have 3 sessions of meditation, each of which will be approximately 45 minutes. And we may take short stretch during each of those sessions also. And I'll reiterate it again at the end of this session before our first break that on the breaks today up until the lunch break we observe silence to maintain our sense of the meditation between sessions. So as usual, we begin by turning our minds from our ordinary activities, commitments, plans for the day, all of the usual things of this world. We turn our minds from all of those usual things to something really quite unusual. And for starters, then, we place our confidence, our wish to rely upon our meditation practice, the teachings of the Buddha, our awakened mind, recognized through our meditation practice ultimately. But in the meantime, we can hold the view that we are truly without any difference from the Buddha, just asleep. But through our practice, we will awaken and recognize that nature of mind, recognize our Buddha nature itself. We remind ourselves that we rely upon the teachings to discover and awaken that mind. We rely upon the vast community of practitioners, exalted beings who have accomplished the teachings, the Dharma, and who provide a supreme example for us. And so we'll begin, as usual, with the repetition 3 times of refuge and the aspiration to bring benefit to all sentient beings.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness.
practice of calm abiding is generally considered to be of great importance. After all, if we are overly distracted, we find it difficult to pay attention or to be present with anything. And there are many forms of calm abiding, many methods to approach the practice, many ways to accomplish it. There is an approach which we will take today, which is not precisely our normal approach, our usual approach. If I suggest to you that you should sit quietly with your body still and your mind still, free of coarse thoughts, thoughts that distract us, thoughts that distract us in a way that we're aware of, thoughts that distract us in a way that we're aware of but we can't stop. If I say sit quietly and do not follow those coarse thoughts, you will have a terrible morning. We identify with those coarse thoughts. We believe in them. We define ourselves by them. And they play a role in all of our relationships with others and with ourselves and all of the things of this world. And so in a way which is not so untrue, we might say that the practice of calm abiding, a practice to overcome the tyranny of these coarse thoughts, is very unnatural. Very unnatural in the sense that what is natural is that we are completely under their influence day and night, 24 hours a day. That's the natural. But when we look close at our own suffering, our own discontent, our own hopes and fears, from time to time we can come to this sense of really deeply wanting to be free of those thoughts, or at least an alternative to being completely possessed by them. when these thoughts arise, and we have also, in addition to the coarse thoughts, we have the subtle thoughts. The distinction between the coarse and the subtle can be made in various ways. But the subtle thoughts are thoughts that we mostly don't even notice they're occurring. We definitely do not feel, unless we are experienced in this meditation, we don't feel like we're deeply under their influence, so we don't pay much attention to them. And the coarse thoughts are more like overt desire, like clear, we really want something. When we don't get it, we have a coarse sense of not getting it, but wanting it, and feeling disappointed. And we recognize these things when they arise. And so we have a strong sense of grasping after the pleasant and positive things and pushing away those things which are not. But today is going to be about something a little different. If you pay attention to the thoughts, the perceptions that arise spontaneously in the mind, the feelings, if you pay attention to them carefully, you will see that those thoughts do not need to be dealt with or pushed away, that they will on their own naturally settle out like mud in a jar that has been agitated. You can leave that jar alone and the mud will settle and the water will be clear. So today, the trick, if you will, is to leave it alone. As it turns out, leaving it alone is the most difficult thing you can do. But you didn't come this morning wanting to do something simple anyway. So I'm taking a few lines from one of our most revered aspiration prayers, the Mahamudra aspirations. And one of the lines that we'll work with today is like this: the waves of subtle and coarse thoughts calm down in their own ground. We also suffer from sleepiness, boredom, torpor, excitement. So these 4 lines continue like this: motionless, the river of mind abides naturally, free from the contaminations of dullness and torpor, and then we aspire, may I establish the still ocean of shamata. So this practice of shamata, or calm abiding, is actually the most simple, the most easy to understand, almost impossible to misunderstand. As we sit this morning, thoughts and feelings, perceptions, ideas and memories will arise. You have now 2.5 hours before lunch to do nothing but watch. Keep an eye on what occurs, the mind like a river just flowing by. You can think of the distractions as flotsam and jetsam, or tree branches and leaves floating down the river. You would not normally consider the river defiled by branches and leaves. So too, you do not need to consider the multitude of things that arise in the mind as any kind of a defect whatsoever. Your job this morning is to sit by that river and just watch it go by. Your job is to not be seduced into entering the river for a swim, or to clean out the leaves or the twigs, but just to watch. Enjoy, if you will. So we're gonna take a break. And for those of you who are not familiar with the house or the breaks, again, we observe silence on our breaks up until lunch. And there are 3 bathrooms in this house. One is in the back of the kitchen, and one is downstairs in the basement, which is accessible right across the hallway here. And another one is upstairs, which is accessible right across the hallway, also going up. So take your break and try to come back as soon as possible. We'll start in about 15 minutes, and we'll ring the bell to announce that.